Today we will have a look at a clever Swiss intermodal solution that could help to get more freight away from the streets and back onto the rails. Hello and welcome on my channel. My name is Felix. Today I decided to do something a little bit different than travel vlogs and to share some insights into particularities of railways in Switzerland that could be replicated anywhere in my opinion. So stay tuned. Intermodal container transports are a great solution to allow businesses without a direct rail connection to transport goods by rail. But typical intermodal freight also comes with a few caveats. First, terminals where containers are charged from trucks to railways need heavy and expensive special equipment to load and unload containers or trailers. The most common method you will see are reach stackers. These are special vehicles that can lift to load and unload containers and trailers. It's like a big forklift. Second, where there is more traffic, gantry cranes are usually used as fixed installations. Third, where there is only occasional traffic, special trucks with a crane on top are used. But these trucks can only be used to transport containers and have less capacity to pull freight. This means that terminals can only exist where there is enough traffic that these investments can pay off in the long run. A second problem is that many intermodal wagons are not able to be shunted on a hump yard, which makes them difficult to be integrated into an existing network. This is especially the case for kangaroo wagons for trailers. This makes intermodal traffic difficult to be connected into existing international or national freight networks. For this reason, operators usually only connect a few terminals between each other, and customers cannot always use the railway network to get really close to the destination. Because of this effect, you will find intermodal traffic mostly on routes where there is a high volume of traffic. In Europe, many routes are intercontinental, where maritime containers are loaded onto trains to serve the back country, or common international routes with very long distances. In bigger countries, surely you will also find them on national routes. But Switzerland is a very small country and the threshold is very high. Don't get me wrong, I also think that intermodal freight has more potential than currently used, especially in Europe. But without getting into too much details, it's generally accepted that intermodal traffics can only be self-sufficient and cost-effective with distances starting at about 400 kilometers, while wagon load freight, so freight that is not intermodal, can usually be profitable with distances starting at 70 to 150 kilometers. This means that local traffic, so freight that stays within the same region, cannot really be served efficiently with intermodal traffic and would have to rely on trucks. The reality is that a lot of freight is not international or not even really national. Especially heavy high-volume traffic, such as construction materials, is usually sourced locally. Waste, for example, is also frequently treated as close as possible to the source. For these traffics, classic intermodal won't help to bring it to the rails. What if I told you that in Switzerland there is a system that is widely used that addresses both of the issues very effectively? The ACTS system. ACTS stands for Abrollcontainersystem, which translates roll-on, roll-off container system. It is an intermodal container system which allows to unload and load containers quickly and simply from goods wagons to trucks and the other way. It's not a technical innovation as such. Intermodal concepts like these existed at least since the 1930s in many countries. In fact, some countries even experimented with the other intermodal approach, not by putting containers on trains, but by designing trucks and goods wagons to be pulled onto the road too, such as the SNCF Porte-Wagon. While most of these concepts died in the last decades, some aspects of the ATCS system still make it a viable solution in the 21st century. First, it doesn't need any expensive special equipment on the road. They only need a common chain or hook loader truck and simple sidings that allow for ground level access by the trucks. By only using the tracks and the cables, the containers can be pivoted to be ready for unloading. After being prepared for unloading, the truck driver can pull the container by using the hook, again without any extra gear or assistance by another operator. This makes operation very easy, as the railway operator just needs to leave the goods wagons on the siding, while the customer or contractor can load and unload the wagon according to its needs and schedule. There is no need to get an expensive reach stacker or gantry crane. After loading and unloading is done, the goods wagon can be collected and shipped around the railway network. When the containers have been transported from the siding to wherever the content needed to go, the contractor can just use his truck for other road services, not related to the railways. This means he did not have to invest into like a special vehicle just for a few dozens of containers that need to be shipped by rail. For safety, the locking mechanism of the frame of the freight cars is connected to the train's automatic pneumatic brake system. In case of failure or an unlocked frame, an emergency braking is immediately started. This means that the system is also very safe on the railways. By the way, my channel is still very small, so please hit that like and subscribe button if you like the video and if you think it's interesting. If you're in Switzerland one day, you will see that ACTS is omnipresent in the Swiss rail freight and mostly used for collecting or distributing bulk goods such as gravel, ashes, salt, apples or solid waste. A notable example is the logistics for the waste incineration plant Tridel in the canton of Vaud in French-speaking Switzerland. From the beginning of the planning in the 1990s, the waste incineration plant in Lausanne was designed to be fed with waste from the surrounding towns by railways, and ACTS is a core element to its supply chain. It's a dilemma when you are designing solid waste incineration plants. On one hand, you need to build them as close as possible within the city so that the heat distribution system does not need to transport the heat over a long distance, while losing a lot of its thermal energy. But on the other hand, of course, you don't want hundreds of trucks driving through the city to residential areas to carry the waste from the region to one central point within the city. To solve this dilemma, Lausanne built a plant with an underground rail connection through a tunnel, allowing waste to be delivered by rail beneath the city. The Tridel tunnel, also known as the Olivier Français tunnel, is a 4-kilometer long single-track electrified railway tunnel running under the city of Lausanne. It connects the Sébillon yard to the regional waste incineration center. But this infrastructure is only one part of the system. Lausanne is a city of only 140,000 inhabitants. The municipal area is not sufficient to provide enough waste to feed the plant. Instead, it's collected all over the wider region. All over the region, compacted trash is collected and loaded into ACTS containers on minor sidings and transported from there to the plant in Lausanne by train, thereby allowing a concentration of waste disposal in Lausanne with higher economies of scale, but without creating huge traffic concentration at the plant and at the access roads. In the city of Lausanne itself, ACTS containers are equipped with a piggyback trash compactor to form something like an intermodal rear loader garbage truck. This way, garbage collectors can directly fill the container, and the common garbage truck becomes something like a super intermodal vehicle. When the garbage truck is full, the compacting element is removed and the container is loaded onto a wagon at the local siding. As I mentioned before, these ACTS freight cars are fully shuntable on humps in classification yards, which makes them perfect for being distributed or integrated into the single wagon load network. Thus, there are services that can be offered flexibly in most regions without needing a big threshold of quantity or distance to be profitable. What do you think? Could this be a solution for bringing more freight on the track? Or do you know a similar system that is operational today outside of Switzerland? I'd be very curious to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments below, and hopefully see you soon again.